What is currently going on with our economy and what can we expect in the coming months to a year? Okay, and how does that affect housing? How does that affect our local housing market here? Because we all know that housing is very specific to its location. We are literally in a twilight zone right now, and COVID has changed so many aspects of our life and the future as well. We're going to discuss the overall economy and then how that's affecting the current housing market. Hey guys, my name is Shanza, and this is a Life in Dallas channel where we talk about all things living in the Dallas Metro. And by the way, I am a real estate agent here in the DFW, so if you're looking to buy or sell or you need advice or anything like that, please don't hesitate to contact me, you guys. All my contacts will be down in the description box below. I have helped several families relocate here to the DFW, and I would love to help yours. This is a very uncertain time for us. It's important to know what we're dealing with, right? So the main contributor to this mess is due to the high inflation that happened during COVID, and the excess money printing during that time caused inflation to go out of hand, especially with the interest rates being so low for a very long time. Since then, the Fed has been aggressive with rate hikes to tame inflation. Right now, the federal funds rate is around 5.5%, which is the highest it's been in 22 years. And the Fed members have a split narrative on what's to happen next, because some are thinking that we may need additional rate hikes. Some are thinking that we're on the right path and inflation is cooling and that we may not need additional rate hikes. Jerome, the chairman of the Fed Reserve, said we will proceed carefully as we decide whether to tighten further or instead to hold the policy rate constant and await further data. Now, Powell also said in a keynote address that it is the Fed's job to bring down inflation to 2% goal, and we will do so. That man is sticking to his word, at least right now he is. So how does the Fed measure inflation to decide on these policies? They rely heavily on the core PCE index, which one, updates more frequently, and two, provides a broader coverage of the economy that excludes volatile food and energy prices that are usually included in the CPI report, okay? And CPI, they also take that into account as well, but they favor core PCE more. So their target is to get the core inflation down to 2%. Now, core inflation has been going down in the past couple of months, which is good. We did go up 1% in July, which is not too bad considering the amount of drop that we had. Now, the CPI numbers came out also, and the CPI rose 0.6% in August, and this is the biggest monthly gain in 2023, with energy being the main contributor to the rise. That was I think a 10.6% surge in gas. Oh my gosh. Also, what contributed to the increase was the continued advancement in the shelter index, which rose for the 40th consecutive month. So that puts CPI around 3.7% from a year ago. Now, it's going down, which is good. But a main contributor to that is unemployment as well, because it's historically still low, and they want to raise unemployment to help with the inflation, because if more people are employed, that's more money in circulation, which in turn leads to higher inflation. Their goal right now here is to slow down inflation. So it would make sense to keep rates higher for longer periods of time this time around, potentially maybe adding rate hikes in the future. Now, the Fed chairman also said that they may not reach that 2% target until 2025. This is a pretty long play if that's the case. That could potentially push us into a recession. The depth of the recession is unknown. There's many economists and even Fed members that have a split narrative on this. Half of them are thinking we're going to have a soft landing. The other half are thinking we're going to have a hard landing. I'm hoping we have a soft landing, but let's just see. Now, I have to admit that the average American isn't in the best position. You know, according to Bankrate's annual emergency fund report, 68% of people are worried that they wouldn't be able to cover their living expenses for just 1 month if they lost their primary source of income. And also, 57% of U.S. adults are currently unable to afford a $1,000 emergency expense, piled with high credit card debt, auto loan debt, student loan debt. The payments have been resumed. So, student loan cancellation that did not pass. I do see some tough times coming for the average American here in the coming months to a year or so, because the Fed is expecting unemployment to go down, something that they're watching really closely. Like I've mentioned before, it contributes to wage inflation, which contributes to the overall inflation. So if less people have jobs, they're going to be spending less, and that's going to be less money in circulation. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that the unemployment rate rose to 3.8% in August in 2023, which is a 0.3% increase from July. And the Feds are anticipating the unemployment to be around 4.4% sometime next year. So many more Americans have to lose their job. Now, if we look at GDP, the first quarter of 2023, we saw a 2% increase in real GDP, which is down from their estimate of 2.4. And the second quarter was 2.1%, and this is lower than the long-term average of 3.18%. Now, we can see from the couple of things that I talked about that the economy is slowing down. So we're definitely on a downward trajectory. Now, is it going to be a steep downward play, or is it going to be kind of like a soft landing? Again, we don't know. By the data alone and by the Fed's harsh stance on not revising their 2% inflation target, we can expect more contraction in our economy. You guys, we are about to be squeezed. The average American is about to be squeezed. I mean, so are the middle class right now. I want there to be a crash just as much as you. We're still very undersupplied in housing. The National Association of Realtors says that the United States are currently experiencing a housing shortage between 5.5 and 6.8 million units. That's crazy. Homes just are not being built fast enough to keep up with the demand. And COVID has also fueled a global supply chain issue, and then prices have gone up a lot from that time as well for materials and everything. And then these new construction homes that we're seeing are geared towards the middle class. Not going to help with the affordability issue. We're in a very unique and uncertain time right now when it comes to housing, because we have like a triple threat on hand. One, we have high rates. Then we have 2, low inventory. And then 3, high prices. Why the hell are these prices going down when the rates are creeping around 8%? Well, lack of inventory. With these high rates, people are not willing to trade in their low rates for one that's almost double or triple the amount that they have. People are locked in on their homes. I know you guys seen those memes where people are like, oh, me and my wife dying in this house because we locked in a 2% rate. It's very true. 62% of people have mortgages under 4%, and 82% of people have rates below 5%. So unless someone absolutely has to sell, they are not going to give that rate up. And I know that a lot of people are going to turn those into nice cash flowing rentals, especially with the trend of having rental investments and this financial literacy amongst the community that's been growing, which I'm all for. I also want you to remember that no time lasts forever. Just like the craze after COVID came to an end, this is also going to come to an end. No matter what happens, it won't last forever. So hoping that rates start to go back down around 5%, which is a pretty stable rate, but that won't be until maybe end of 2024, 2025. That won't happen before more economic distress happens. But again, they won't start cutting it until inflation is down to 2%, or if something breaks in our economy and the Feds have to pivot early. But before that, I don't think that we're going to see rate cuts this year. Slowly but surely, we are headed into the right direction. Let's discuss the local housing market here in the DFW. So this is a chart for the entire MLS. Seasonally, prices are higher during the summer and lower during the winter. And they usually start picking back up around the January time frame. So you can see that January until June, we were kind of going on an upwards trajectory, and now we're back down. We didn't even make it back to all-time high. Now, some cities did, some cities didn't. But you can see that the median sales price is starting to go down again, which is pretty normal after the summer. So the month of supply that we have right now is 3.2 months of supply, which is a little bit better than what we had in 2022. So we're getting more inventory in the market. But again, like this is kind of where inventory tops off too, and it starts to fall from there. So we can see inventory fall, which can stop the prices from falling a little bit more if nobody is willing to sell. The closed sales are down 9.1% from the same time last year, which is not a shocker. So right now we're looking at the 4 major counties here. There's other major counties, but it's only letting me add 4 right now. We have Collin, Dallas, Denton, and then Tarrant County. So as you can see, Collin County, year over year, we're down 2.3%. Tarrant County, we're down 4%. Wow. Denton County, okay, we're just staying afloat, 0.1% increase, which is barely nothing. But Dallas County is up 5.2%. Oh, Dallas County is making a comeback. Okay. Rockwall area has a lot to contribute to adding to the value to that Dallas County portion. So closed sales are down in all these counties. Wow, especially down in Dallas County. So yeah, again, not a shocker that less homes are being sold. Look at the supply that we have right now and look at the supply that we had pre-pandemic levels. Like, it's way above 3 months of supply, and right now, like, we're still very distressed. The months of supply for these major counties is still below 3, so they're averaging around 2.5 months of supply. Some cities that are more desirable, they're still up. Some cities that are not desirable are facing a little bit of a downturn. I do think prices are going to drop in a lot of these cities, but is it going to drop like 2%, 5%? That's the thing that we don't know, right? But all in all, we can expect a slowdown. Again, inventory plays a major factor. And I know that a lot of people are waiting for like this huge crash and everything to happen, but honestly, you have to look at these factors and you have to look at your local economy and see what's going on, because in our DFW, even though some of the people that are living here can't afford these things, people that are coming out of state are going to be able to afford these very easily, and they're going to inflate the prices. You may miss your opportunity on buying a home if you're just kind of overthinking and you want everything to be perfect. You want interest rates to be low. You want the prices to be low. I mean, that's what we all want. I do want to put emphasis on the fact that we have multiple offers all the time. Just in the past week, we saw 3 houses that ended up having multiple offer situation. My listing had multiple offer situations just a couple weeks ago. And homes that are desirable are still selling really fast. Right now, I do have clients that are looking to buy at these high rates because they understand that rates are not permanent and that their main focus is getting the house locked in on, because again, the times ahead of us are uncertain. So we can take the scenario that we're in right now and make a decision based off, is this going to be a good time or should we wait? Sometimes it's better to rent. Sometimes it's better to go ahead and purchase a home, right? It really depends on your personal situation. We can't deny that there's a huge group of people that is just waiting on the sidelines for the prices to come down, for the interest rate to come down, for them to start flooding the market again, because we know that the interest rate directly correlates with the amount of demand that goes into housing. What I'm in fear of is that when interest rates do go back to 5%, that is going to stimulate the economy more, and when the economy is stimulated, the prices of things usually go up. So around that time, which may not be like a year or two from now, where we're going to get those 5% rates, maybe at that time the prices of houses are going to go up. And I'm really hoping that when we do get to that 5% range, that may unlock more inventory, so there's a chance that maybe prices will cool down a little bit. I'm really hoping. So there's different ways that this can play out, but there's people that want to sell as well, but they can't even afford their own house at their current mortgage. They're good where they're at. Maybe at that 5% range, we'll unlock some more inventory. So it's a very uncertain time for us. The future is unpredictable, and the smartest of the smartest economists don't even know what's going to happen next. COVID happened, that really messed up a lot of the metrics and the data that we use to predict what's going to happen in the future. So it really changed our economy and our housing market. And to be honest, I am one to take advantage of when the market crashes, because I know that those are just temporary things that happen and that eventually it follows with a economic boom. Every recession or slowdown follows with an economic boom. So that's why I have kind of like this long-term mindset that, yeah, we're going to face distress here, but that's an opportunity. And you may not realize it right now, but a lot of people realize it when it's too late. I want to read you this quote that I saw online. It says, "It's almost like people with tons of capital benefit from running the economy into a huge recession every decade or two, so they can buy up assets on the cheap and consolidate even more wealth into a small number of hands." If that is not the most truthful statement that I've heard recently, because as you know, that the wealth gap is growing. It's growing every single year. The rich are just getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. That shows with the unaffordability issue that we're having right now. Like, wages are not growing and things are just getting more expensive. This area is going to grow rapidly. Okay, it's already growing like crazy. It's topping the charts in so many different sectors. We got so many different corporations moving here, tons of young entrepreneurs and businesses that are just absolutely booming when they come here with the business friendly nature that we have. Several of our family members have businesses and they thrive so fast. It's so crazy to me. That's why everybody's moving their business here. I believe that it's just going to get more and more unaffordable. If you think that prices are expensive right now, I'm afraid that they're going to still continue to go on an upward trajectory because the DFW was one of the most moved to places in the past couple of years. So there's a massive, massive influx of people. That's why I like to push home ownership, because if we look at a long-term picture, a couple of years, a majority of these single-family homes are going to be rentals. There's a lot of uncertainty in the economy and the market. I do believe that we're going to contract some more here. I also do believe that interest rates will be back down in the 5%, maybe in 2024, 2025. As for the DFW area, maybe a year from now, some places could be up like 2%, 4% still, even at these high interest rate levels, right? That could be true. Some places could be down negative 2, 3%. So that really depends on the city and all that. But just know that cities in the DFW move differently. And if you are looking to move in any of these cities or need advice or anything, please don't hesitate to contact me, you guys. All my contacts will be down in the description box below. And make sure to check out the rest of my videos where I go around the DFW area. And I will see you in my next video.